Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol Walton, and I'm the CEO of the Parkinson Alliance. And I would like to welcome you to the 19th Parkinson's Unity Walk. It's a spectacular day in Central Park, and I'm very proud to tell you we are in front of our proud partner and premier sponsor, AbbVie, formerly Abbott. And I'm pleased to tell you we have Maureen Conley with us, who is the General Manager, AbbVie, Neuroscience Division. Maureen, we'd love to hear all about the wonderful programs you have today for patients, and we're glad to have you back.
Thanks so much. AbbVie is pleased to be the premier sponsor of this year's Parkinson's Unity Walk. AbbVie supports research in Parkinson's disease and is proud to be here to support the community again this year.
Wonderful. Let us know what you have in the booth.
Since 2009, we've been supporting the Messages of Hope wall, where we can capture inspiring messages and photos of the patients with Parkinson's and their support family. And so this year, patients can come, sign the wall, and for every signature and message of hope we get, we'll be donating $15 to Parkinson's research.
It's wonderful, and I might mention that we have exceeded our goal every year. So this year, when we exceed our goal, AbbVie will have donated an additional $75,000 directly to Parkinson's research, and that's on top of their sponsorship dollars. And we very much appreciate that, Maureen.
We're glad to be here again this year and supporting the event.
Terrific. So let's go down the booth and see what else she has for us.
As you can see behind me, participants can select their background of New York City, provide their message of hope, and then it'll be saved digitally, and they can see their message and their picture immediately on the touchscreen TVs.
Okay, we will move down longer in the AbbVie booth, and we'll show you what it looks like on the big screen. We're standing in front of this wonderful big screen, and our first signature and message this morning was from Meme Ali, daughter of the wonderful Muhammad Ali. It's a gorgeous screen, and it was a wonderful way to start the day. All right, Maureen, let's move along to the next part of the booth.
Okay.
Okay, we're now on the far end of the AbbVie booth, and we're going to let Maureen tell us the last thing you do after you get your signature and it shows up on that big screen.
So to my left, we have computers available where patients and their family can provide tips to others in the community about living with Parkinson's every day.
Thank you, Maureen. All right, we're going to pass the booth now. We're going to let all these people come in, sign their names, leave their wonderful messages, and also their helpful hints about Parkinson's disease. And then we're going to come back towards the end of the day, because I know we're going to exceed our 1,000 signatures, and we'll have another $75,000 for research. Maureen, thank you very much. We're glad that you're part of our community and our proud partner, and have a great afternoon. I'll see you later.
Thanks so much. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure to introduce Bill Schwederman from Chelsea Therapeutics.
Yes.
Thank you for coming all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, thank you.
Tell me about Chelsea Therapeutics. Why do you guys come here and make it a point to be here every year?
We are a small pharmaceutical company developing a new drug for Parkinson's disease, and we've been doing it now for the past 3 or 4 years, and just want to show our support for the community and let them know about sort of our efforts we're making for the treatment of neurogenic orthostatic hypotension, which is a disease of low blood pressure. Patients, they'll stand up. Some of the Parkinson's patients, about 20%, they'll stand up and they'll get faint and dizzy and sometimes actually fall down in the morning in particular. And this is something that we're working to treat.
Wow. So
Yeah.
do you have a name for the drug yet, or you're still in the research
It's
phase?
an investigational drug.
Great.
We haven't marketed it yet, but
Okay.
the name of the drug is droxidopa, and we're hopeful. We're hopeful we can get this out there to the community. It's a very important drug. It's a very big unmet medical need. These patients need something for this, and we're working hard to get it out there.
Wow. What's been your experience coming to the walk?
It's fantastic.
You like it?
Oh my God, the support, it's a beautiful day. The kinds of questions and activism and positivity, it's just overwhelming. We're just delighted,
Have you talked to a lot of folks today who have PD who would love to
Yes.
take this drug?
You know, the thing about
get their
coming here,
balance and-
absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing about coming here is that we see the people that actually need the drugs, and we talk with them, and we see their enthusiasm for new therapies. We see what they are experiencing as patients out in the real world, and it brings the whole thing home. You know, our efforts now are becoming much more real, and we just love interacting with patients and all the people in the community.
Well, tell everybody down in North Carolina they need to come up here and be a part of the walk next year, okay?
I will. I'll tell them all. Thank you.
Bring a bus. Bring
Will
a big
do.
bus or a couple.
Okay, thank you.
Bill. We're in the shade now, right next to Bethesda Fountain and the red carpet. How lucky are we to be able to talk to doctors, Dr. Ramig and Fox, answering some questions for us right now. Number one, how common are speech problems when we're talking about Parkinson's?
Absolutely. Speech problems occur in nearly 89% of patients with Parkinson's disease, even early in the course of disease.
And what kinds of symptoms are we talking about in terms of speech?
Most common, reduced loudness, monotone, hoarseness occur early in the disease, and as the disease progresses, articulation problems, rate problems, even tremor of voice can occur.
Now, is this a difficulty in thinking or just saying what one wants to say?
Excellent question. It's both a motor problem as well as a sensory feedback problem. Patients feel like they're loud enough and they're really not. They think the whole world has a hearing loss. And also self-cueing. So it's a complicated basis for the speech problem in Parkinson's.
What is LSVT?
LSVT stands for Lee Silverman Voice Treatment, and it's a behavioral intervention to help improve speech and communication. So even when patients have optimum medication, it doesn't necessarily make their speech better. So through rehabilitation approaches like speech therapy, we can take them where they are optimally medically and make them even better to improve communication. So today we typically go by the acronym LSVT. It was actually named for a patient with Parkinson's disease, Mrs. Lee Silverman, and her family supported some of the initial development of the protocol. Today, we now have also developed from the speech therapy a physical occupational therapy program based upon the same principles. So we call LSVT loud, the speech treatment, LSVT big, the physical or occupational therapy. And they share some common principles. One is we target amplitude. So speech gets soft, movements get small, so we work on improving loudness in speech and bigger movements in the body. The treatments are intensive and high effort, so the patients come an hour a day, 4 days a week for 4 weeks. So they get 16 hours of treatment in that 1 month's time. And they also have daily homework practice, daily carryover exercises. And then the third feature is, as Dr. Ramig said, they have sensory problems, and we see that in speech and movement. So we have to retrain them to recognize what probably feels a little too loud to them or too big to them is actually within normal limits.
So how dangerous is it? I know sometimes when someone is ill in a family, they might shy away from talking to them.
Yeah.
You know, that can be debilitating, right?
Very
Because this is like
debilitating.
it's just like muscle memory.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly. Well, and we see that early even, that people start to withdraw. And even if the communication isn't completely devastated yet, they start to get anxious about it.
Sure.
They're not quite sure, is it gonna come out the way I want? So they start to draw back, and then it becomes a vicious cycle. The more you draw back, the less you talk, probably the worse your speech is gonna get. So
The less people will engage you, the more.
exactly, all of those kinds of things.
Well,
So
and the masked face in the patient also makes the other person not want to engage. So the soft voice, kind of the flat masked face, people don't communicate with them as much.
Right,
Yeah.
because they think that there's no
That's
emotion
right.
there, but
That's
there
right.
is.
Absolutely.
a lot of
There's
emotion
a lot of
there.
emotion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, why do you come to the walk every single year?
It's the most inspirational thing that happens in the Parkinson community
It
every
is,
year.
isn't it?
Yeah.
To see family members that have worked all year to raise funds and to teach them something they didn't know. It's a fabulous event.
And we're inspired, and we see people come by our booth every year. We see clinicians come by who've been trained in these protocols. We see patients who say, "Oh, I've done big, I've done loud." Sometimes they perform for us their exercises,
Right.
and so it's so reinforcing to us
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
For people who've never been here, how would you describe the walk?
Well, it's a walk that's 2 miles long, I think.
But
And
just the environment
Oh,
here.
oh,
I mean,
oh.
I think a lot of people are hit by the sense of humor that
Yes,
people
yes,
have.
yes.
Well, it's
The
full of
teens.
hope. It's full of
Right?
hope. It's people who have either lived with the disease or helped treat patients with it, and you see the impact you can have on their life. And that's really, as a professional, why you come. Wow, we can really help these patients, and that's very satisfying.
And the team spirits, the families that
Yeah.
come together that support someone with Parkinson's now or someone someone who's passed away.
Yep.
It's fabulous.
So how many years has this been for you guys?
Oh, many. Maybe what? 8? Yeah.
8, 9, 10.
8,
We've
9,
been
10.
to many of them. Yeah,
many of
I'll
them.
see you next year.
Okay,
Thank you
sounds
for coming.
good.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Joining me now is John McDonald from Medtronic. We're talking about DBS therapy. So what's the connection between Medtronic and DBS?
Well, Medtronic is actually the company that provides DBS. We're the only commercially available company in the market right now. We introduced it back in 1997, and so far 100,000 patients have had their lives transformed through the power of deep brain stimulation.
Yeah, it's deep brain stimulation. What happens?
Well, DBS is it's a neurosurgical therapy that will treat the motor symptoms associated with Parkinson's disease. So for patients who have a tremor, patients who are stiff, patients who are slow with Parkinson's or have some freezing episodes, deep brain stimulation treats all the cardinal symptoms associated with Parkinson's. It's truly the most transformative therapy available for a Parkinson's patient who still responds to their meds, but the meds aren't working quite as well as they used to.
Now, is this, I know it plays with the way we're all wired. Is this an electronic impulse that's happening just for that one treatment, or is this every day? Like a pacemaker? Explain to people.
That's a great question, and it is. It's like a pacemaker for the brain. A tiny electrode is inserted into the brain, and you bring up a great point because since 1997, this therapy has completely evolved. Back when we first started, it was an 8-10-hour surgery where the patient's awake.
Right.
Now it can be done with the patient asleep in a couple of hours.
That is, so people can be asleep
Absolutely.
getting DBS. That's huge. That's brand new.
It is a new revolution in the marketplace. So yes, it's very appealing, very exciting.
And a lot more people are lining up for it, or
Well, as you
does it make
said,
a big difference?
it makes a huge difference. 100,000 patients treated to date. We are providing the therapy to more people now than we ever have in the past 16 years.
And Medtronic developed this. You guys invented this, right?
Medtronic, through a collaboration with a physician in France, Dr. Aline Benabid, are the ones that developed the therapy and now have it commercially available here in the United States.
We heard such amazing things just out on the walk, talking to people. I was just saying, unsolicited, so many people saying that it works wonders. It makes a huge difference. Does it make a big difference overnight, or is this something gradually over weeks that you see an improvement?
You know, typically the patient is going to see some immediate effect, but the device needs to be programmed by a neurologist. So the neurologist is going to tune the device specifically to address, the symptoms that individual patient has, and all the while adjust their medication. So there is a slow process, but you will see some effects immediately.
John, thank you so much. Did you have
Pleasure.
a good time today?
I had a great time.
All right, safe home. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thanks.
And for everybody who's checking in with their doctors, DBS, that's what you want to ask about. Deep brain stimulation.
KnowBeforeYouNeed.com.